Today has visuals. When I was a kid, we would often visit an Audubon sanctuary about 30 minutes from our house. It's one of the sanctuaries, like many around here, that was previously a large estate, then gifted to Audubon for conservation. There's no house, but the headquarters is in a barn, and one of the trails is a rockery from the early 1900s. Huge glacial erratics are arranged to make small hills and tunnels, which are so fun for little people. And greenery has grown up all around. There are wetlands, a river, meadow, and woods, and so it's prime birding territory. My mom is a birder, and my grandmother was too, so we used to go there a lot, especially in the spring, to see the birds. We would bring a little seed and put our hands out flat and make the sound. Does anybody remember what the sound is? I hear it. Do it louder. Yeah. Right? And then they would come and eat from our hands. Feeling their tiny, tiny little delicate feet on my fingers was an important lesson in stillness and wonder. 40 years later, I can still feel myself slowing down my heart rate and breath so that I didn't jump when they landed. It's been a treat to see birding growing again in popularity. Young folks are getting outside and learning more about the tiny little dinosaurs still flying all around us. My daughter played me a hip-hop song about birding that came out back in 2017. It's from the Sweatshop Boys, and much of the song, though through bird analogy, is not church appropriate. However, the chorus is, you know I'm birding, baby. Where are my binoculars at? I'm with the trees. I'm looking for birds, yo. And one of the verses is just a fun list of bird names. It's great, though again, not church appropriate. Please don't Google it on your way out of here and say, Carol told me to listen to this song. But the day that Abby played it for me, I had such joy. After the incidents of black birders getting hassled with white nonsense, hearing two young brown men rap about birding gave me hope for the future of our planet that is way out of proportion for a song about rhyming bird names and having fun with some silly metaphors. Birding invites building skills around attention that can become a practice. When we're in a car, my mom is always scanning the treetops for birds of prey and taught me how to look for breaks in patterns as you are scanning a tree line or a meadow that might mean an interesting critter is there. Sometimes a potential bear is just a log and a hawk is just a clump of leaves in a tree, but it's been a lesson in attention and patterns. I'm with the trees, I'm looking for birds. In March, my mom and I traveled to New Mexico to see migrating birds and spend time in the high desert. We were a little early for some of the fancier songbirds, but we saw a lot that we had never seen before, including a roadrunner, which is in that picture, sort of blurry, but it's in there, I swear. And they're common in the area, but it was fun for me to see a spotted towhee and hear the drink your tea call with just a slightly different accent than the rufous ones we have here. The mountain chickadees look almost identical to our local friends, but their chickadee call sounds like it has a cold, which was also very charming. I didn't get a ton of pictures of birds themselves. It was a lot more beauty shots of landscape. But I got a few close-ups as we were trying to identify birds that were new to us, like this towhee. And a tiny, there's the beauty shots. Okay, and here's the tiny rock wren that had a beautiful song, and it took us at least a half an hour with books and the Merlin app to finally decide that's what we saw. And it's just that tiny little, thanks, Kenny, that tiny little circle in the middle there. We went to a wetland that's managed by the National Park Service. Through a series of canals, they recreate flooded areas that should be there but are no longer because of Rio Grande water use. Through this seasonal flooding, all sorts of birds migrate through. We were at a huge pond looking at northern shovelers, which are ducks with wide shovel bills, and an older gentleman who worked for the Park Service stopped by and let us know that the snow geese come through between 10 and 10:30 in the morning, and where to see cinnamon teals, which I had never even heard of before, but are really cool. So we headed out to see more of the park. It was about 9 o'clock then, and we made our way back before 11. Oh wait, here's the cinnamon teals chilling on the water. Again, I don't have a telephoto lens. It was just, isn't that beautiful? Anyway. Okay, keep going, slide. There we go. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, so the snow geese had arrived. They're that line across the middle of the photo there. There were somewhere over 1,000 of them out on the water. It was amazing. They were chatting to each other. We took a lot of pictures and told them they were super cool. I always try and affirm to the birds that are willing to hang out that I really appreciate them. And then we headed back to our car. And I was putting something away when my mom came up yelling, "Carol, Carol," and pointed up. And the snow geese had all lifted off the pond, made this huge arc across the sky, and were about to fly right over our heads. And actually, if you want to geek out later, there is one of the ones that's totally black mixed in there, and I can zoom in and show you. I found out later. I didn't know when I was taking the picture. Anyway, so it was magical. Oh, there. Thanks, Kenny. Teamwork. Okay, so, and I don't know if the sound will come through, but I didn't share my sound. Hold on. That's them flying back to the water. Very exciting. All right, mute that. Okay. So it was magical. And I couldn't help but think of Mary Oliver and after I reread her Snow Geese poem, I realized I had lived it in a way that felt special. So I'm going to read you her poem. Oh, to love what is lovely and will not last. What a task to ask of anything or anyone, yet it is ours. And not by the century or the year, but by the hours. One fall day I heard above me and above the sting of the wind a sound I did not know. And my look shot upward. It was a flock of snow geese winging it faster than the ones we usually see. And being the color of snow, catching the sun, so they were, in part at least, golden. I held my breath as we do sometimes to stop time when something wonderful has touched us, as with a match which is lit and bright, but does not hurt in the common way, but delightfully, as if delight were the most serious thing you ever felt. The geese flew on. I have never seen them again. Maybe I will someday, somewhere. Maybe I won't. It doesn't matter. What matters is that when I saw them as through the veil, secretly, joyfully, clearly. Part of the wonder of birding is taking the time to pay attention to what's happening around you, wherever you are, training oneself to pay closer attention to the little things. It's also an opportunity for perspective and an ego check. When birds migrate in flocks of 1,000 overhead, heading thousands of miles away, I'm reminded of how much life there is that has nothing to do with me or with people. Birds are their own universe, interdependent with us and all creation for food and habitat, but truly wild and free. An invitation today is to take a page from the world of birds, not to add a new bird to your life list, though that's cool too, but rather to relax your gaze and see what you might learn as you observe your environment. What patterns are happening around you that have become part of the scenery, but might in fact be something important or new? Turn your gaze up and feel anew our place in the web of life. Open your ears to hear the stories that our winged neighbors are telling us. And I think, hold on. There. Oh, sunset. There's a little moment to breathe. Okay. And then I'm going to turn this off. As we come to the solar eclipse tomorrow, we have a special opportunity to use all our senses to connect with the rhythms not just of our Earth, but of our solar system. My friend Josh is an astronomer, and he gave a talk for Ollie about the eclipse about a month ago, and highlighted that the moon has to be the perfect size, the perfect distance and rotation to give us eclipses, and it does, which is so rare in the universe. And for all the science that we can learn about eclipses and about the universe, the wonder of eclipses gives him pause. His best advice for us is to not try and take any pictures or use fancy equipment, but rather to be present to the moment when the day briefly turns to night and back again. Listen to the birds and bugs and the people around you who will hush as it comes. And use all your senses. Practice presence. I don't think I need to convince the folks in this room here and online today that connection with nature and the web of life is vital. But I imagine that we all have work we can do to strengthen our practices that help us live into that connection. Through practice, we can strengthen our attention to patterns, to the impact of our actions on the web of life, and to wonder and joy. Take some deep breaths, open your senses, and maybe think, I'm with the trees. I'm looking for birds, yo. So may it be, and amen.